How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got quite an interesting video for you all regarding the confusing world of car insurance for young drivers and how to get the cheapest quotes possible. I myself am a young person. I'm 22 and I drive a 3-litre BMW, so especially for people in similar positions to me, getting cheap quotes is crucial. But regardless, getting cheaper car insurance quotes is something everyone wants, but it's something a lot of people struggle to get. And especially now with many insurance prices going up, getting the best deal you can is more important than ever. So in today's video, I'll talk you through some of the best tips that have helped me to save thousands of pounds, and at the end of the video, I'll let you guys know how much I paid to insure my 400 horsepower BMW M240i. Alternatively, you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the clips of me zooming about. So, number one, if you're considering buying a new car, research insurance quotes first. You really do not want to get stuck with a brand new car for yourself when you can't even afford to insure yourself on it. I need to get it out there that this is the single most important thing you as a young driver need to consider before pulling the trigger on a vehicle. I spent countless hours researching the best quotes I could find before buying my M240i, and I'm very glad I did. I've heard way too many horror stories of people not researching insurance before buying a car, to then not even be offered the possibility of insurance due to whatever risk factors insurance companies go off of. So it is crucial you do your research first. And number two, if you're not using comparison sites, what are you doing? Sites like Money Supermarket, Compare the Market, and Go Compare are one of the easiest ways to see the best deals out there for you. It's incredibly simple to enter all your information, and once you're done, you'll be shown a list of quotes that you can look into and possibly eventually buy. This is the single best tip, so if you're not utilising these sites, do it now. Third up is deciding how many miles you do. Many people will overshoot the mileage they do per year, leading them to pay for miles they won't do. Think about it. In the eyes of the insurance companies, the more miles you'll say you'll do means the more time you'll spend on the road, and therefore higher chance you could end up in an accident. So by simply lowering the amount of miles you'll do, it'll almost certainly result in cheaper quotes. Now, number four is paying annually for your insurance. If you're currently paying for your insurance monthly, consider if you're able to pay for it annually, as in almost all cases, doing so will lower your premium. Personally, I've always paid for my insurance annually for this reason, and always recommend anyone else to do so if financially viable for your situation. Nice and easy tip, but a lot of people seem to forget it. Now on to number five, and that is increasing your excess. Many automated quotes from comparison sites will set your excess quite low, as many older drivers opt to pay the minimum before the insurance pays out. However, as young drivers, this can be huge in lowering our premium. I think the maximum excess you can have is around £1,000, so if you're prepared to pay that in the event of an accident, then it can be a great way to lower your quotes. Also, do bear in mind there are two types of excess, voluntary and compulsory. Voluntary excess is what we've been discussing, which is set by the driver, whereas the compulsory excess is set by the insurance company. Unfortunately, as young drivers, many companies will increase the compulsory excess and or have a young driver premium included in your quote due to your younger age being riskier. So bear all this in mind when deciding on how much excess you'll be taking on, as this is the amount of money you yourself will have to cough up before the insurance company pays a penny in the event of a claim. Now my sixth tip is to add additional drivers. If you're lucky enough to have a parent or even two who have clean licenses, then this can be a great way to lower your insurance quotes. By adding these named drivers, the insurance company will most likely cheapen your quote, as they will assume you'll be sharing your car with these less risky drivers. Therefore, you being the risky driver will be driving it less. However, you need to be careful, as you don't want to accidentally front on your insurance. This is where you tell your insurance company that your additional, less risky driver is the policyholder and main driver, and then you add yourself as a named driver on the policy. Doing this is technically fraud and illegal, and I would therefore strongly advise against it. But there is absolutely nothing illegal about adding additional named drivers to your own policy in order to cheapen your premium. Do bear in mind though, that if your parents are getting to a certain age, I believe around 60, then it may be possible that they will actually increase your quote due to their age. Now my seventh tip is when you actually take your insurance out. As a rule of thumb, you ideally want to take your insurance out as far in advance as possible, which is usually about a month. By getting it sorted early, insurers are a lot less likely to try and charge you last minute, assuming you're desperate for insurance. They will tend to offer much more reasonable quotes the farther in advance you sort it out, so get on it early. Now this next point is a tricky one with the whole car community, but especially young drivers, and that is modifications. You need to be especially careful about declaring any modifications you have on your car, as in the event you want to claim, your insurer may reject your claim based upon false vehicle information. Think about the insurers realistically. They do not want to pay out to anyone ever, and will therefore try and wiggle out of any claim they can. And also make sure you check your insurer will cover you for any future mods that you want to do before you do them, as some will flat out reject them. In my experience, lots of companies just charge a flat fee extra for lots of the usual modifications such as exhaust system changes, window tints and intakes. So yeah, this point isn't necessarily about how to get cheaper insurance, but it will help you if you decide to not declare your mods, get in an accident, and then have to pay for it all out of your own pocket. Now the penultimate tip, make sure you never auto-renew your quote. When you're getting toward the end of your insurance policy, shop around. Don't ever settle for the renewal quote you get from your insurer and see what other companies may offer you. Funnily enough, my insurance recently renewed and my company initially tried almost doubling my quote from last year. Thankfully, I had a very sympathetic insurance employee helping me out and managed to get the quote down by around £700. Now last but definitely not least, call up your insurers. As I stated earlier, using comparison sites to look around for quotes is a great idea. However, once you find the best quote, always call up the company and try work out a cheaper price. As I mentioned in my last point, if I had simply accepted what quote I was given by my insurer, I would have paid around £700 more than I eventually did. It's always best to talk to a real human and try and work something out. A lot of the time they're very helpful and seem to actively want to cheapen your quote for you. In my experience, I've often spoken to similar young people who are also into cars, and they therefore understand the struggle of getting insurance at a young age, especially on modified cars. So yeah, make sure whatever quotes you get, always call up the company and speak to an advisor. They may be able to work a miracle. So that's about it for today's video. These are my top tips for young people wanting to get cheap car insurance quotes. If you guys have any questions regarding insurance or general car advice, make sure to leave me a comment or send me a message on Instagram. Oh, and if you're wondering how much I paid to insure my M240i at 22, bear in mind I've had my licence for 5 years, I have 4 years no claims bonus, I live in a city and I have a clean licence. I paid £1,312 for the year, which is not too bad at all considering what sort of car it is and how old I am. So yeah, that's about it, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.